So for the FrameGen to work after the new update, you got to go to Nexus modes and download this file right here, RE framework with the latest one. It says fixes crashing caused by the RE9 update, which was the issue that was happening in the 1650 Super video. So unfortunately I couldn't do it during that video, but found a fix, okay? And you obviously need the DLSS enabler as well. So you guys just gotta go to the files session and then download just a manual download, just a simple DLL file, and that's it. That should be enough. So just go to the files and download the DLL file, and it's gonna look something like this. This is the stable version, the version.dll. You need to copy this and then copy the reframework dinput8.dll. Just copy these two and paste it in the Resident Evil local folder. So for me it's Steam, Resident Evil, and then go to browse local files. Should be here. Just paste it here and you should be good to go. And the game shouldn't crash. So that's it. Now before we jump into the game, let me just show you the system specs. You can see the latest driver, 595.79, and the RTX 3080 Ti Gigabyte version of the card, and 64 GB of DDR5 memory, and the 9800X3D. That's all system specs right here. And we are going to have the game running with the recommended settings, right? Like that. And now on DLAA settings is going to be preset K, and DLSS performance is going to be preset M. But it's going to be overridden because DLSS 4.5 doesn't support ray reconstruction technology yet. So even though it's on recommended settings, it's going to be still using DLSS 4. So this is pretty much useless, but I'm just going to use that, okay? So now let's jump into the game and see how it performs on path tracing maxed out with FrameGen on 4K, 1440p, and 1080p. And again, I'm sorry for the long intro, but I had to get everything clear, right? So now let's jump into the game. And you guys can see it's doing the compiling shaders. Usually it crashes here without the latest reframework update, but it's going through the compiling shaders session properly, and we should be able to get in there without any issues. And you guys can see the UI for the reframework and everything, so you don't need that, you know. So there it is. It's actually letting me do everything. So now let's jump into the game and see. I'm gonna have the latency meter turned on the top right. So we got all the overlays that we need. So you guys can see path tracing 4K. Everything is maxed out. And there you go. 4x DLSS Nvidia frame generation. So it's enabled. And I'm gonna actually start it off on performance mode on 4K because I don't think DLAA is gonna be a good idea. So just start it off on the introduction sequence. And there you have it. It is pretty terrible, I might say. It is not pretty at all. You can see the latencies are 197, almost 200 on 4K performance, 4x FrameGen, and upscale from 13 FPS. Just pretty terrible, you know. And if you take a look at the rain is like falling at 2 FPS. The raindrops. Everything else seems to be working normal. And look at the artifacting, absolutely terrible. So 4x FrameGen, even with performance mode, is not gonna be usable at all on path tracing. So let's do ultra performance. So now it's upscaled from 720p. Should give us a little bit more better FPS. Takes us to 113, and now it's way more smoother. It's not that floaty anymore with the 84 milliseconds, but you can still see the artifacting around her hair, you know. So which is not perfect, but this is still way better. Now it's playable with ultra performance DLSS. Seems to be the case whenever you enable path tracing with the 3080 Ti. You need 4x FrameGen, and also should be on ultra performance mode to actually make it playable. But like you can see, we only have 12 GB of VRAM, which is why it's showing us all of these artifacting and stuff around her, which is not the best. Damn, I wish this card had 16 GB VRAM, man. Yeah, that's the max we can do on these settings. Even if you use 2x FrameGen, it's still gonna max out the GPU VRAM, so you still see those artifacting. In case if you guys are wondering why the artifacting is there on these FrameGen settings, it's because we don't have enough VRAM headroom for it to render stuff properly. So with 2x frame gen we can get 60 FPS, but it's not going to be good. All right. Even if you go to the other side of the map in the care center, still going to be having those artifacting. But in here you can see we can get 98, almost 100 FPS with 2x frame gen. Then when you zoom in, you can see the frame time dipping really hard. Again, I've seen this before on the other 12GB GPUs like B580, because again, VRAM limitation. Doesn't have enough headroom to properly execute this quick little interaction that you'll be doing. So even with 96 FPS, the artifacting has better, like has reduced significantly over here, but still not enough, you know. So even if we use 4x frame gen, which takes us to 171 FPS, still gonna be a major dip whenever you zoom in. Like for example, if I shoot Buddy over here, can see that big dip right there? See that? It's not as terrible as it was on the B580, but just right there. You see the 0.1% loss 22. That was terrible. But the latency is pretty smooth, and you don't notice any input lag whatsoever. So in the care center, this is a really solid experience, even on 4K with path tracing. But yeah, those small little stutters are the experience killers right there, like that. So on 4K, it's meh, not really playable, but it's still impressive to see these kind of FPS on these settings. And with path tracing maxed out, man, 3080 Ti, so pretty good. So you wished, you know, Nvidia actually supported these technologies natively on these GPUs, right? But fortunately, we have some modders to help things out. So that's 4K. Now let's see how it's going to be on 1440p and 1080p. Now on 1440p, I'm going to keep it on quality mode and DLSS 2x, I mean frame gen 2x for now. And first, let's test the rain area. You can see almost 60 FPS with these settings with 75 milliseconds. And even then, the artifacting is still there around here when you look at her hair. But the thing is, it's way better now because we have more headroom for the VRAM. It's not like extremely maxing it out like it was on 4K. So this is more playable. Now it's not that obvious anymore with the artifacting. And if you're like on a controller, you probably wouldn't see any of that unless you're like aggressively doing that. Oh my god. Okay, so that was a major stutter right there. That was pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now the FPS is really hitting so hard. You can see barely getting 40, so that's not good. I need to go down to balanced. Now this should be fine, I believe. On balance mode, 52 FPS, 54. I don't think it's doing its thing, so let me just quit and come back. So let's go to the care center instead, because testing the other area is pretty pointless for the most part. Over here with the balanced settings, you are looking at 85 FPS with a 58 milliseconds latency. And now there's no more of those big hiccups like we had on 4K. So that's the best sign to see, you know. With the 47 milliseconds, it's absolutely playable now. On balanced upscaling with the frame gen on 2x. And Buddy's dead. So this is pretty playable, but if you want to go to 4x, should still be playable. So 4x is like pushing it a little bit further, as it should. Now we're getting 140 FPS with 53 milliseconds as usual and no artifacting around her hair or anything. So that's amazing. I'd say this is way more playable now. There is still some artifacting around her hair, but you're probably not going to notice it at all. Especially if you go first person. You know, you're not going to see her hair or anything. And the majority of the people are going to play the game like this as well. So 3 bullets, this is going to be enough to kill her. Oh, the dips are still there. So on 4x frame gen, man, the dips are going to be there. So just to keep that in mind. Come on, I missed that. But yeah, it is kind of playable now compared to 1440p. I mean 4K. Man, I suck at this. So let me just go back. How am I missing this? You gotta be shitting me with that. So there you go. With FrameGen, my aim is absolutely ass. And it's upscaled from 35 FPS over here. Still pretty good, you know, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And if you put it on performance mode, it should be way better than this. So let's do performance mode and 2x FrameGen. Takes a whole lot of load off the GPU here with 96 FPS on 2x. Now we have a stronger base frames, 50 instead of barely getting 40s. So now it's way more playable. The stuttering issue should be more stabilized on performance mode. So we're now upscaled from I think 720p. So gonna be a way more stable experience right here. So yeah, on 1440p, man, with the FrameGen mod, this is gonna be the way I would play the game. And again, 123 FPS is more than enough for a game like this. So should be perfectly fine here. And again, if you want more FPS, just go to 4x. Gonna take you to 180 FPS. Wow, absolutely amazing. And let's just keep it going. I got some more ammo now. You kill these guys real quick. Can't see anything though. This guy takes a lot of bullets. How many shots do you need? But you can see the frame time graph and everything is really smooth. That was a pretty close call. He's dead. He's also dead. So there you have it. Pretty stable performance right here with these settings on 4x FrameGen. I gave you guys an idea, right? So that's a 1440p. Now let's, for the fun of it, just test out 1080p as well. Alright, on 1080p, I'm gonna go for quality mode with 2x FrameGen first and see if that's gonna be playable, and then we'll test out something else if we have to. We're on a third person. Let me change it to first person. I mean, we're on first person, change it to third person. What am I even talking about? Without even doing anything further, we are getting a stable 78 FPS. And now, with the better looking visuals, I mean, no artifacting. No insane artifacting like it was on 4K. 64 milliseconds is pretty playable, upscale from 36 FPS. Now this is really playable on 1080p. Still seeing some of those stutters over there. I think this is just generally in this area is pretty intensive because of all these lighting. That could be the reason, right? But yeah, it is pretty playable over here. Let's go to the care center. 102 FPS. So look at that. Yeah, no more stuttering issues whatsoever. Way more stable than it was. And 102 is really solid. Go 4x FrameGen. Takes us to 186 FPS. Pretty much the similar kind of experience that we had on 1440p performance mode and 4x FrameGen. It's pretty much the same thing because it's both upscaled from 720p. And buddy, I'm sorry, this is gonna be the last time with the 3080 Ti. I promise. Just gonna get some more blood. So 160 FPS, pretty playable. And again, this is gonna be the least I should be going. I don't see any point in doing anything further than this. But let's just test out DLAA. This is now pushing the VRAM again. Not gonna be that great. And you can see the artifacting coming back because of the VRAM limit. And we're only getting 20 base frames. It's gonna be really hard for the GPU to create fake frames. That looks good without the VRAM headroom, you know. So yeah, it's a really VRAM intensive task, as you guys know. So it's gonna look really bad. So as long as you are in a VRAM safe zone, then you should not be getting any of these artifacting or ghosting and still have a really playable latency. Right now it's pretty terrible. It's at 103 milliseconds, which is pretty bad. So just keep it to quality mode, you know, and that should be the best way to play the game. But just for the sake of it, let me just go to 4x and then keep it on performance mode, ultra performance mode, to see the max FPS we can get. and 238 FPS. Oh my gosh. So 231 FPS, guys. Absolutely insane. You know? So that's the max you can get with this GPU if you enable path tracing and 1080p with ultra performance and 4x frame gen. There you have it. You guys get the idea. Now what the 3080 Ti can do with the frame gen mod and path tracing. Again, I don't see any point in using this frame gen mod unless you're going path tracing. Because on if you don't have any ray tracing turned on, this GPU can pretty much handle the game on 1440p and even on 4K with some upscaling. You'll get close to 100 FPS, so it's only worth it if you have path tracing maxed out. But yeah, that's about it, man. That's Resident Evil Requiem on the 3080 Ti with path tracing and MFG. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to check out the MFG, go ahead and do it. It's free. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are. Catch you guys in the next one. So take it easy and peace out.